Well, the first round was the first round, unfortunately. But hey, the semifinals, well, I say the quarterfinals are set. I'm looking forward to previewing that. Fiesta Bowl, Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, and Sugar Bowl all set to go into the year 2025. This is Buried Down the Gridiron live on this Friday, December 27th, the final show of 2024, and it starts right.
I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, what's up? I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma tell you I feel amazing. I feel blessed, that's evident. I'm the best I've ever been. So if they ask you how I feel, I'ma
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Friday, the final Friday of 2024, December 27th. And that's the last show I'm doing this year. Really, the next time I do a show, it'll be 2025, which is crazy to think about because the college football quarterfinals are New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, which I'm going to preview here today. And it's going to be a great one. Now, the first round was, well, I put it in the show title, Snoozefest. Every game was finalized by double digits. It was underwhelming. As I said in the opener, very underwhelming, but hey, it is what it is. But the playmakers here in the building, hope you had a great Christmas. Hope you got to enjoy the present that was given to you. Those of you who had Santa come by your house, congratulations to you. And those of you who just enjoyed the day, all right, got to watch some football, which we're going to talk about NFL in a bit because some ratings come out between the first round and the NFL games that was played on Saturday. Got to talk about that. I got some bowl games that I'm looking at that's coming up outside the CFP that I'm taking a look at as well. So thank y'all for tuning in. And let's finish off this year of 2024 with a bang. And first and foremost, let's get it going with that. Bear Down the Gridiron is live on our Playmakers Ball Network YouTube channel, live on our Playmakers Ball Facebook channel, and live on my LinkedIn page. Also, this will also be available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. And those who have the Real Rise Radio, you can listen to this on the Real Rise Radio tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. to 12. And then you can also listen to it on 502 American Nature later on tonight. Okay, so you have plenty of ways to listen to this episode and listen to Bear Down the Gridiron going forward as we continue to expand our reach throughout the country, throughout the world, as we talk college football. With that being said, first things first, 2-minute drill. And to begin the 2-minute drill, the NCAA grants waiver to ex-JUCO players while appealing previous ruling. The NCAA Division I Board of Directors on Monday approved a blanket waiver granting an additional year of eligibility to former junior college transfers in a similar position as Vanderbilt's quarterback Diego Pavia, opening the door for a waiver of college athletes across all sports to spend one more year in college. According to an NCAA memo, the waiver extends an extra year of eligibility in 2025-2026 to athletes who previously competed at a non-NCAA school for one or more years, and otherwise will have exercised their NCAA eligibility following the 2024-2025 season. So if you went to JUCO college this season, especially in football, you can get an extra year to come back to the Division I brand and play college football. Very interesting. This is very interesting. The decision from the NCAA comes 5 days after a federal judge in Tennessee granted an injunction to allow Pavia, a former junior college transfer who played his first season at Vanderbilt in 2024, to pursue an additional year of eligibility next fall. All right, you could be seeing a lot more JUCO players coming and getting involved in the NCAA, which, depending on how you look at it, could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. Everybody has different viewpoints, so you know how that is. Everybody sees things differently. But seems like it's a never-ending thing with the NCAA. Now you got this, you already got the NIL problem. Now we thought NIL was a problem. The transfer portal might be a bigger problem, because if you don't like what's going on, you can just leave and transfer to another school so you can do whatever you want to do. I mean, it is crazy what the NCAA got going on. Everywhere you turn, there's something that's going on with the NCAA. Very interesting. But hey, this is what the NCAA want to do. Sooner or later, it's gonna backfire on them. It's gonna catch them when they least suspect it. But this is what they want to do. So let's move on to our next news or note. Yep, this one is going to be interesting. Speaking of the CFP playoffs, Carson Beck will not be seeing the field no more this season. Georgia quarterback Carson Beck underwent successful surgery on Monday on his right elbow to repair his UCL, and he will not be available for the Bulldogs for the college football playoffs. However, Beck is expected to make a full recovery, according to the school release, and he will resume throwing in the spring. The surgery was performed by renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Neil L. Ashita in Los Angeles. Beck and his parents have been consulted with different doctors and specialists to determine the best course of treatment after he was injured on the final play of the first half in the Georgia Bulldogs 22-19 win over the Texas Longhorns in the SEC championship game. So Beck is not with the team right now, as they are preparing redshirt sophomore Gunnar Stockton to take over the helm for the CFP playoffs. So Carson Beck, thankfully you have successful surgery. Unfortunately, you will be missing the college football playoffs, but you should be back and you should be ready to rock and roll when time comes for the following year. Looking forward to seeing you down in Jacksonville, Florida next year when you play Florida. But go ahead and work on your rehab. Get stronger, get better. You know, we don't like injuries. But yes, we're gonna see how this affects Georgia Bulldogs in the quarterfinals. We'll talk about that later on. All right. Colorado has added insurance coverage for Sanders and Hunter. So Colorado secured what it said was a record insurance coverage for quarterback Shedeur Sanders and Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter as stars opt to compete in their college football finale in the Alamo Bowl rather than set up and prepare for the NFL draft. This will be their final game. And this might be a game we might be talking about a little later on in the show. Colorado did not disclose the amount of the insurance coverage each received, citing privacy laws. Head coach Deion Sanders and athletic director Rick George said it was the largest in college football history, saying, quote, "We happen to have two players that are probably going to be the first two picks of the NFL draft. We all know who these two are, and they have received, I think, the highest number of coverage that has ever been covered in college football, as far as anyone that has ever played this game of college football." Close quote. Smart move. You know, it's still football. Injuries still can happen on any given play. So you want to make sure. That's why a lot of stars opt out of these bowl games. It's not for the national championship or a playoff game. Because it can happen. It can happen in playoffs. It can happen for a national championship game. We have seen this before. There's no escaping injuries from the game of football. So what Deion Sanders and Colorado has done, I commend you for it. Making sure that Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, they are covered whatever they do in this Alamo Bowl game. Very well done by Colorado. I respect it and I enjoy it. Good job. All right. Here we go. So Saturday NFL games, top college football playoff viewership. If you want to know who's king, it is the National Football League. Despite being at that point, which was what, last weekend, we talking week 16, because this week is week 17. Week 16. Week 16 games outdid the first round of college football playoffs. Now I got the numbers for you. I don't need to go through the article. But here are the numbers. Notre Dame kicked it off Friday night, 13.4. There was no game. The two games, it was 3 games on Saturday. You had Penn State and SMU, 6.4 million. That was on TNT. Also on TNT, Clemson and Texas, 8.6 million viewers. And then the nightcap was Saturday night for the college football playoff was Tennessee at Ohio State, 14.3. Now, if you notice the first game, Notre Dame, Indiana, and you notice the last game, Ohio State and Tennessee both averaged over double digits in viewership. And the two middle games did not touch 10 million in viewership. Why I say? Because the two middle games was directly across from the two NFL games. What was the two NFL games? Well, the first one was the Houston Texans versus the Kansas City Chiefs on NBC. 15.5 million viewers. And then the game after that, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens, 15.4. And that was on Fox. So you have 4 network channels: ESPN/ABC, TNT, NBC, and Fox. And the 2 stations that covered the NFL, NBC and Fox, 15 million. The highest game was Ohio State, Tennessee, 14. By the way, the Notre Dame, Indiana game was the only game on Friday. There was no NFL game Friday. And the Saturday night game, which was Tennessee and Ohio State, that was the only game because the 2 NFL games was in the middle of the day, right at the same time as Ole Miss, Penn State, Clemson, and Texas. As you can see, 6.42 and 6.8 going against 15.5 and 15.4. NFL's king, man. NFL's king. But the performances in these 4 games didn't help as well either. Did not help. Guarantee you, it did not help. And trust me, I was able to watch 2 of these games as well. And I can tell you, it did not help. It was not a good showing for the college football playoff, which is going to be a talking point once we get to our gridiron run or 2. We captured what happened in the first round of the CFP. But yes, that's what happened. That was the viewership. And then finally, Deshaun Jackson has now become the latest head football coach in college football as he is finalizing the deal to become the head coach of Delaware State. That was yesterday. I do believe it was completely finalized now. And congratulations to Deshaun Jackson. We have you at Delaware State. We have Michael Vitt at Norfolk State. Nice to see we getting former players coaching right now. It's great. It's great to have. Great to see. It's been very, very lovely to watch these former players get head coaching jobs in college. Let's see if they can translate though. Let's see if they can they go from superstar players or star players in the NFL to being head coaches now. Let's see how this works. And plus, you're at HBCU school, so definitely is a great starting point for you guys. I'm looking forward to see what y'all do. And that would do it for your 2-minute drill. All right. When we come back from our first commercial break, we must talk about it. Yeah, the first round of the CFP playoffs. Not a very good start for the 12-team playoffs, so to speak. So We'll be back.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy, and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another beating a dead horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying, but this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Poppy J and Wise El Jefe, Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
WWE Shop is your online source for all things WWE. Be a part of the excitement and score wrestling gear for big events like WrestleMania or SummerSlam. From current superstars to legends, from Raw to SmackDown to NXT. Don't miss this chance to shop for the most awesome WWE merch. Shop for the best deals as well as WWE gift cards and save big on your favorite items. WWE Shop at Fanatics Experience.
Cool McCain.
You thought you wanted Gunther against Chad Gable, but you didn't. And I'm going to tell you why. Chad Gable would take everything that Gunther's done and bury it.
The Playmaker.
It was on site. AJ Styles walked out there, seen LA Knight. Oh, okay, then LA Knight hopped out the car. Let's go.
Break down everything in TNA, AEW, and all of the WWE programming. Join these two kings, monarchs of wrestling, live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on the Play Caller Sports Talk YouTube channel.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bearing Down the Gridiron on this Friday. This lovely Friday here, the final Friday of 2024. Hope you are ready for the new year. Hope you're ready to see some action that's going on right now. We got some bowl games coming up, and I believe two of them, maybe three of them, I'll talk about a little later on that next segment. But first and foremost, we got a recap. So let's go to our Gridiron Roundup. And before I get to the Gridiron Roundup, my brother Wise Health is in the building. What's up, sir? Like I said earlier, he is the head man of the World Rise Radio. So you'll be listening to this episode tomorrow, 11 a.m. on the World Rise Radio station. Shout out to you, big bro. Now let's get to our Gridiron Roundup because yeah. These were not fun games to watch. So began it last Friday with the Battle of Indiana, with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish hosting the Indiana Hoosiers, and the margin might say 10. It was not a 10-point game. Notre Dame had them down 27-3 before Indiana scored the last 14 points to make it a reasonable score. Notre Dame was they was on one, and Indiana had nothing. They had nothing. It was plain and simple. Look at statistics here: 278 yards for Indiana. We talking about one of the highest scoring offenses in college football, the Indiana Hoosiers, and they only can put up 278 yards of offense. So Notre Dame's 394. Notre Dame could have had over 400 yards of offense if they really wanted to. But they was cruising. I think by the time the third quarter hit, they started to cruise because they knew Indiana had nothing to do to make this a game whatsoever. Notre Dame could have literally ran up the score on it if they really wanted to, but they didn't. That's how bad it was on Friday night. Thankful enough that I am a podcaster, and you did see the commercial of Monster Wrestling. I still had SmackDown to watch as well, so I got to pull a little double duty, knowing this game wasn't going well. As you can see, Riley Leonard passed for 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Walker, 215, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Allison, 37 yards on 11 carries. That's just, you can't win like that. But Jordan Love, on the other hand, or Jaden Love, my bad, 8 carries, 108 yards, and a touchdown. Now, I know some of my statistic people would like some math being done, so real-time math is going to be done right here, right now. That man had 108 yards on 8 carries. Those of you who want to know, 13.5 yards a carry by Love. 13.5 yards per carry. That's what I was saying. If they really wanted to, Marcus Freeman could have had his boys gave Indiana a wholesale beatdown if he really wanted to. But no, he understood that, hey, this game is over. They cannot do nothing against our defense. We can just run the ball, let it play out the way it plays out, and we just going to go ahead and move on to the quarterfinals, which will happen. 13.5 yards per carry. And he carried the ball 8 times. That don't make no sense. But yes, this happened to be a prelude of what's to come in the first round because we had 3 games on Saturday, beginning with SMU traveling to Happy Valley to take on the Penn State Nifty Alliance. By the way, every spread covered. Every spread was covered. That's how bad it was. And remember, all the home teams were favorite. Notre Dame was favorite. As you see here, Penn State was favored by 8.5. They won by 28. That was the first game on Saturday. And that was on TNT, by the way. Wow, that was the game that was on. You got to watch Houston and Kansas City play on NBC. And that game was not even a close game as well. But a lot more people watched that game than this game. This game was underwhelming whatsoever. First half was 28-0. And both teams just traded 10 points each. So you just right about the second half. The first half is all you need to see. This is pretty much how that game went. The first half was everything you needed to see, which included a pick 6 by Penn State. I think it was a 59-yard return. I think that was their second touchdown, which made it 14-0. And the snowball effect for SMU kept going. It was they always said teams for the South can't play up north. Well, SMU's from Dallas. They travel up to Pennsylvania. They got their ass whooped. 253 yards of offense, 3 turnovers. Penn State had 325 of offense, only 1 turnover. Time possession is not really that bad. 31-12 to 28-48. Not really bad in time possession. But when you turn the ball, they always say this. I heard people like Ryan Clark say it. Tom Brady has said it. A lot of former football players, mainly NFL players, have said it. Turnovers are magnified even more in the playoffs than in the regular season. Well, they turned the ball over 3 times, one including a pick 6. So you can see how magnifying it was for SMU to get their ass whooped. Kevin Jennings, you had a terrible game, sir. 20 for 36, 195 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. All SMU turnover interceptions. All of them. Drew Allen ain't even had to do much. He only passed for 127 yards. Singleton, he ran the ball 14 times for 90 yards and a touchdown. They really didn't do much on offense. It's the turnovers by SMU was the detriment to them. There was no furious comeback in this one. It was straight up ass whooping by the Penn State Nittany Lions. James Franklin, he won. He won this game. Dominant fashion, by the way. The Big Ten is happy about that. They did not want no team from the South, SEC, AC, no team from the South to come up north and win. They are very strict about their Big Ten football. James Franklin understood their assignment. He got his assignment done. He understood, and he got it done. SMU, great year. Hell of a first year in the ACC, by the way. I don't want to poo-poo y'all season. Y'all went 11-3 this season. First year in the ACC. You almost won the ACC, by the way. But, things happen. And then you had to take that trip up to Pennsylvania, and it didn't work in your favor. It's all good. So, learn from it. Bounce back next year. Just bounce back next year, all right? You have a good team. But, man, y'all got your ass whooped. And then the other game that was on TNT at 4 p.m., the 12th ranked and ACC champion, the Clemson Tigers, went to Austin, Texas to take on the 5th-seeded Longhorns. By the way, out of all all 4 games, this one was pretty much the closest one, especially in the first half. What should I say, first quarter? Because in the first quarter, we had a 7-7 tie, and then Texas ripped off 21-3 in the second quarter, and that was all she wrote for the Clemson Tigers and the ACC champions. I'll give Clemson this. You had that look. You're like, Clemson might be coming back here, because Steve Sarkisian kept going for it on 4th down and started kicking a field goal. Which I had no idea about. And if Cole Johnson was here, I would love to ask Cole Johnson if he was here. I don't know if he's watching or not, but I would love to ask Cole Johnson, what in the hell was your coach doing? What the hell? Like, bro, you are up double digits. Why are you not kicking the field goal? He kept going for it on 4th down. That's the only problem I have with Texas right now. Because I'm trying to understand why you kept going for it on 4th down. Before I go to the team statistics, let me put up the full team statistics here because I want to see this. 1 for 4 on 4th down with the Texas Longhorns. Mind you, they never trailed. I think they trailed once in this game. I think at one point. No, I take that back. They never trailed in this game. I think that's what bothers me the most. So I'm looking at this. No, they never trailed. For a team never trailing, why is you 1 for 4 on 4th down? Why is you going for it 4 times on 4th down for anyway? You never trailed in the game. What was you? What? I honestly tell you, this is a 14-point margin, but this should have been easily, and I do mean easily, should have been a 21 to a 24-point margin victory. You can easily add 10 more points to this, or at least 9. The amount of time he went for it on 4th down, I'm like, dude, get the field goal. Let's get the field goal. Clemson, they trying, but it's not working for them. And yet, you don't get it. You give them a little bit of momentum. They take advantage of them in some type of way. That's why they scored the most points from any visiting team of the week. Out of all the visiting teams from the first round, Clemson scored the most points, 24. They shouldn't even got that. The only reason why they got that because at least 2 of them turned Texas away from points, was turning into points themselves. So you easily talking about a 10 to 14 point swing because Steve Sarkisian wanted to go for it on 4th down 4 times when he never, ever trailed. This is what I see. It's stuff like this that's going to get Longhorn fans mad at Steve Sarkisian. Don't you do this next time. Don't you do this in the quarterfinals. And if you get past the quarterfinals, don't you do it in the semifinals. You take the points that are given to you, sir. You was up. Clemson had nothing. They was trying their butts, but you were too better than them, okay? It was one of them games where Clemson, you can do it, but the other team on the other side is just better than you. And it showed on the field. But you just kept going for it on fourth down. You just kept going for it. Don't make no damn sense. Didn't make any sense whatsoever. But other than that, now let's get to the team statistics here. 412 yards of offense for Clemson, for almost 500 yards of offense for Texas. You see my point? These dudes almost right there, 500 yards of offense. Clemson's defense could not stop them. So the simple fact that you went forward 4 times on fourth down when at least 3 of them could have been field goals, that's 9 more points. And them 9 points you can take away from Clemson and add it to yours. That could be your actual final score. That would be what, 47 to 13. No, 47 to 15. That could have been your actual final score if you really wanted to. You just would have kicked the damn field goals and had them travel the whole damn way. But you wanted to go for it. Caleb Kupnick, 336 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Quinn Ewers wasn't really needed. 202 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Blue, 14 carries, 146 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's over 10 yards a carry. I can tell you that right now. But those of you who might analyze people, I'm gonna give you your official statistics. Another real-time math right here. 146 yards per carry. You're looking at 10.4 yards a carry. Do you see a theme here? Home team has a defense and can run the football. It's pretty much what's been happening here. That's pretty much what's been happening. I've not seen a home team that threw 300 yards. And every one of the games were double-digit wins. You see here, Quinn Ewers on the pass for 202 yards. Texas won by 14. Let's go back. Penn State won by 28. Drew Allen on the pass for 127 yards. For you to win by 20 to pass for 127 yards, that's amazing. Let's go back to the Notre Dame game. Right Atlanta, 201 yards passing. They won by 10. See? That's all it is. You're at home. You control the environment. You see your running game working. You see your defense playing lights out. No need to force it. Do what we do. And you ran them boys out the building. And then there is the final game. The game that everybody was looking forward to see. The Tennessee Volunteers traveling up to Columbus, Ohio at the Horseshoe to take on the 8th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. A Buckeyes team that are reeling from a 4th consecutive loss to the Michigan Wolverines. Ryan's day job is on the line. How you lose to this Michigan team out of all the years. And now we got Tennessee. If you lose this is a Southeastern Conference team. Don't you lose this game, Ryan Day. And when Tennessee took over College Game Day, the Tennessee Volunteer fans were there at College Game Day. The Ohio State fan, they was home. They were home. They were chilling. They ain't want no parts of College Game Day. And then AG hops on. He's like, "Nah, I'm not worried about the fans. Nah, they home chilling. They getting ready for the game. They'll be here tonight." That was AJ Hawk's words before he was the guest picker. That was his words. He wasn't worried. And sure enough, I'll be damned. 42-17. Ohio State trumped out 21-0, and I watched all 3 of them touchdowns. It was like, what the hell has happened here? Then, Tennessee got down to 11. You thought they was going to come back, 21 down. You went from down 21-0 to 21-10 at halftime. You feel good about yourself, and then that third quarter happened, and it was lights out. It was a done deal. That Ohio State defense came out ferocious. That offense, Chip Kelly was in his bag for this game. They wanted to send a message, and they sent the message. But as the person that I am, I can tell you when this game was actually decided. This game was actually decided before the game even took place. This was decided before the game even took place. Why? Because Tennessee thought this was a great idea. The Tennessee volunteer players thought it was a great idea. That this was a great idea. Everybody else don't talk about it. I might as well talk about it as well. Y'all really thought this was a great idea. Send a message. We ain't afraid of the cold. We don't care how cold it is. By the way, it was like 27 degrees there. By the way, 27 degrees in Columbus, Ohio, Saturday night. Remember, it's a night game, so it gets worse. And then they thought this was an idea. And that ass whooping took place right afterward. Now, it's great for Ryan Day. Great for the Big Ten because they didn't have to worry about listening to SEC fans saying, yeah, we took our asses up to your damn building and we whooped y'all ass. Nope, you don't got to worry about that for the time being. Nope, you don't got to worry about that. The North defended home turf. The Big Ten got the 2 wins that they most needed from the first round, Penn State and Ohio State. But let's dive more into this. 256 yards of offense for the Volunteers. They didn't even turn the ball over. Ohio State full 73 with a turnover. But they still whooped that ass. Thoroughly. And I do mean thoroughly. Nike Mulayava, barely over 100 yards passing. 104. You see Lewis there because Sampson didn't make it through the game. Matter of fact, I don't even think Sampson made it through the first quarter. That's when I should have known this game was going to turn. They didn't have Dylan Sampson for the running back spot, which really hurt Tennessee. And then on the other side, Will Howard, 311 yards passing, 2 touchdowns through the air and an interception. The only quarterback to throw for 300 yards in the first round of the playoffs. Trayvon Henderson, 10 carries, 80 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jeremiah Smith, the sensation rookie, freshman for Ohio State, 6 catches, 103 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Ohio State won. This is a message. And that's what they did. They sent a loud and clear message. Very loud and clear. It was an ass whooping. All 4 games turned into Snoozefest. That's exactly what it was. It was terrible. The first round of the playoffs was not what it needed to be, but that was the first round of the college football playoffs. Now we're going to take a quick, and I do mean quick, intermission break here. And then when we come back, I got some bowl games I'm looking at outside of the CFP. Just outside, real quickly. But real quick, take this real quick break.
Whether it's the men's college game,
The way that this season has been going, yeah, anything is possible.
the women's college game,
And how passionate Angel Reese was at that press conference, they got their mojo now.
the WNBA,
AJ Williams stood at 1 and 2, followed by Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, Jackie Young.
or the NBA.
The Lakers had a 0.8 chance of winning. And then what happened in the fourth quarter? LeBron James by himself outdid the Clippers.
You will get any and all of the information right at your fingertips or your earlobes. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down all things basketball in Shooting Lights Out on the Playmaker's blog, network, YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts. The Big Ten,
How would people on the campus of Ohio State University, how would they look at Ryan Day?
the SEC,
Until somebody can show me that they can beat Georgia outside of Alabama, I got to roll with the Bulldogs.
the Big 12,
Mike Gundy, show me something. I picked you last year, okay?
the ACC,
I need Dabo Sweeney and the Clemson Tigers to show me that they are understanding what the mission is at hand.
and the Pac-12. I'm sorry, the Pac-2. too. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down every single week all the hot college football games, bearing down the gridiron on the Playmakers Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts. Rams fans all around the world.
It's a beautiful thing to be a Rams fan right now. Stafford's back. We will see about Cup. And running back Kyren Williams to return.
Lend me your ears, or should I say lend Playmaker your ears, as he breaks down week by week everything in the Los Angeles Rams canon.
Number 99, Aaron Donald. Can't wait for 2029 to come to know that you are going in the Hall of Fame, and it should be first ballot, no questions asked.
Join the Playmaker as he breaks down everything Los Angeles Rams style in Ramily Talk on the Playmakers Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts.
All right, welcome back to Bearing Down the Gridiron. I wanted to play that real quick for my man Cole Johnson, who did all my commercials for my 3 shows. This show right here, Bearing Down the Gridiron, shooting the lights out, which is on his way back, probably after the new year, and getting him back involved to my basketball. And then just released a new episode of Ramily Talk on yesterday, so catch that. Especially if you're a Los Angeles Rams fan or you're a fan of any team in the NFC West, as I break down how the Rams can clinch the NFC West this weekend, even despite the fact that the Seattle beat Chicago Bears, they still have a chance to clinch the NFC West title. But nevertheless, great for them wanting to show support to the people that support me. It's a great honor and privilege to work with somebody like Cole Johnson. It's always been a pleasure for me and others out there. You know, I can't on down to everybody right now, but I just want to get that in there. Now, there are some bowl games outside of the playoffs that I am looking forward to. A couple of them are happening today, tomorrow, and right before the quarterfinals begin. So upcoming bowl games that I am looking forward to, beginning with the Armed Forces Bowl that is coming up in about 10 minutes from now, right here on ESPN. The Oklahoma Sooners and the Navy Midshipmen. Navy got a big win over Army. They beat Army. It was a good win by the Navy Midshipmen, beating the American champions. And you got the Oklahoma Sooners team there feeling good about themselves because they're literally the reason why Alabama didn't make the playoffs. They're literally the sole reason why Alabama. People want to point to them losing to Vanderbilt in a shootout game, in a game that Alabama never led in. Nevertheless, we all know it's the Oklahoma loss. You walked in there as a double-digit favorite and you got your ass whooped by double digits, 21 points to be exact. In Norman, Oklahoma, to a 6-6. Yeah, that's right. Oklahoma's a 500 team because in a bowl. Matter of fact, Oklahoma is a bowl team because they beat Alabama. Think about that. If Alabama would have did their job, and they would have beat Oklahoma the way that people thought they was going to beat Oklahoma won't be in this game. They'll be home getting ready for the offseason right now. But since they beat Alabama, Oklahoma is playing in a bowl game. They're playing against the Navy Midshipmen, which is the most craziest thing ever. Crazy to think about. So yes, I'm looking forward to this game. And joining me, speaking of which, is the aforementioned himself, the man of the morning show, Mr. Cole Johnson. Cole.
2 points. 2.
In fact, I can't see you on camera. It's crazy that you are going crazy.
Lord have mercy. 2 points. 2.
Hey, I think Cole Johnson having some camera issues right now.
I shall return.
Goodness
Yeah. 2.
it's not the NFL, but those of you trying to figure out what he's talking about, he's a Houston Texans fan. So I think y'all can put 2 and 2 together. So, all right, he gets that situated. But yeah, that's what I was saying. It went for the Alabama game with Oklahoma. Oklahoma won't be in this bowl game. That's how crazy it is. So that game's coming up in less than 10 minutes on ESPN. Looking forward to see how this goes on. Oklahoma's 2-point favorite. But I'm going to see if Oklahoma is ready for this option offense that Navy brings to the table. And they show they can play defense because they held it down against Army. I would give them that. They held it down against Army. Shout out to them. Also coming up later on today, the game that I actually wrote an article on, if you remember. I need to put that in the show notes somewhere. I wrote about the games to watch for, the bowl games to watch for outside of the college football playoff. This was one of them right here, the Birmingham Bowl, because 2 teams we normally don't see have good seasons had good seasons. In the ACC, you have the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, as they are doing battle against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Okay, you have 2 quarterbacks who have led their team to one of the best seasons that each program has had in quite some time. And I do mean quite some time, because when the last time you saw a Georgia Tech team win 7 games in a season? 7 games, Georgia Tech. When the last time you had Vanderbilt be 6-6 and actually look reasonable as a 6-6 team? A team that you look at like, man, they might be something to deal with next season. And that's how you looked at this Vanderbilt team. You got Georgia Tech as a 3-point favorite. That is 3:30 ESPN. That's following the Armed Forces Bowl between Oklahoma and Navy. But I want to see the quarterback matchup. I want to see Pavia versus King, because these 2 guys have led their team in different ways than what you normally see from quarterbacks from both of these programs. You know, Henry King is closing in on 2,000 yards passing this season with 11 touchdowns, only 1 pick. That man has only thrown 1 pick. So it's amazing to me that they're 7-5 and not better in that aspect. Then you have Hayes, the running back. He's over 800 yards rushing. For the Vanderbilt side, Pavia has thrown for over 2,100 yards, 17 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And he also is their leading rusher with 716 rushing yards with 6 touchdowns. So it is quite interesting that we see how these 2 quarterbacks play later on today, 3:30, down in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm looking forward to this game. I'm looking forward to watching this game here. And Cole Johnson is back, and we got all the technical difficulties out the way. This is not the NFL, sir. This is not the NFL.
Alabama scored more points than Oklahoma did. 2!
Sorry, you don't have total football talk coming up.
I'm sorry. Woosah. That's right, college football. That's right. You saw Oklahoma, who they had their weasel game in beating Alabama. Remember, there we go. Oh, now I'm focused. What's up, playmaker?
No, hey, when is total football talk returning? Because you need to get all that out.
Well, it will be Monday, and I will be putting a foot in the Texas behind. Because Beyonce scored more points than the Texans. Lord have it. Well, but this is related to college football. As of this moment, the Houston Texans, they have decommissioned themselves as an NFL team. So now the Houston Cougars are going to be the NFL representative in Houston. The Texans will now be in the SEC.
You might want to take all that back. You said the Houston Cougars out of all teams. The Houston Cougars.
Yes, that's right.
Did you not see the type of season the Houston Cougars had?
Oh, no, Houston Cougars suck, but still, they would represent Houston a whole lot better than the Texans did on Christmas.
No, I'm not going to. This is not total football, so I'm not going to dive into it. Anyway, I'm looking at the
bowl. You can have a quarterback jog to the end zone and act as though it was a doggone scrimmage. Oh, my bad. Woosah, remember. Woosah. Oklahoma sucks. A&M really needs to go take a flying leap. There we go. Okay, all right. I'm all right. Okay, I'm more focused now. Thank you, playmaker.
Anyway, I'm doing those
Oh,
bowl games that are coming up before we get to the quarterfinals, and one of the games I'm looking at
SMU
today.
represented Dallas beautifully in Happy Valley. Oh, now I feel really good. Okay.
Yeah, I know, because you said Ryan Day and James Frankenjob would be safe, and guess what? They both put on ass whoopings.
Well, what I tell you, what I say. I told you. I told you. They're like, don't worry about the fact that you have problems with certain programs, or in James Franklin's cases, top 10 programs. Don't worry about that. Where you stack at the playoffs, your job is fine.
I think I'm gonna have to revisit that with him before the show is over with.
Two butt whoopers later, and that's exactly what's happened.
Anyway, two teams that are fighting each other today at 3:30 that had productive seasons than normal between Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt, sir. I'm looking at the quarterbacks.
Yeah, man, I feel for Georgia Tech because they put forth a fight and a half between the hedges. They really did, and this isn't they played your team Texas, talking about Georgia, and they beat them in the SEC championship. They would have played the same game whether Georgia won or lost against them. So it has nothing to do with that. But those young men, they battled tooth and nail in between the hedges, and I thought, wow. And I was hoping they would get a good bowl game. It looks like they did, so I'm happy for them. And obviously with Vanderbilt, the fact that their key victory was basically for the exception of Oklahoma, I actually think the victory that basically made Alabama season tailspin. I think we're seeing really good competition here with two teams that. All right, let's be under. Let's get this straight. They aren't blue bloods. They aren't programs where you think every year they're going to be fighting for New Year's Day bowl games, or they may compete for a conference championship once every 25, 30 years. But they're both these programs are on the rise, and I think I'm glad that they paired these two same programs on the ACC, one for the SEC, and they are on the rise. And considering how stacked the SEC is, you got to tip your cap to Vanderbilt. I mean, they fought hard. Even the L's they took were hard fought L's. So yeah, I'm glad that we're seeing this game, and I'm glad these two teams are matching up with each other.
And speaking of which, before you came in, I was talking about, if you actually look at it, that Alabama game for Oklahoma is the only reason why they're in the bowl game.
Yeah. The Alabama W is the only reason why Oklahoma's here. And they should send every single person in Oklahoma. I'm talking about the players, the staff, the AD, the school, the students, even the dean of the school should all send thank you letters to Tuscaloosa. They should thank Alabama because they would not even be represented in a bowl, much less having them play Navy, unless they had the games that they had in Norman against them.
And I know how you feel about the Academy Army.
Yeah,
man, yourself.
I rep Army, yeah, but I don't hate on Navy. I rep Army, and look, and I call Army Navy the most important game in the college football season. I don't care where they're ranked. I don't care who else is ranked. It is the most important game in college football. Navy did their thing. They stumped the mud hole in the Army, and I just had to tip my cap to them. So yeah, I'm happy about the midshipmen. The good year they've had.
That game is kicking off.
It's unfortunate that the big time stage they had, other than Army Navy, was the butt stomper they took in the Bronx to Notre Dame. But they had a really good season. They really had a really good season.
And that game is kicking off right now on ESPN, Armed Forces Bowl. Now, another game that's going to be the nightcap for tonight, the Direct-TV Holiday Bowl. The PEC 2, as Coach Johnson would like to put it, representative Washington State Cougars are taking on the 21st ranked Syracuse Orangemen. We talking 17 wins between these two programs this season. And yet the Orangemen is an 18-point favorite.
Well, you know why they're a big favorite now. I mean, they ruined, and I really do mean this. The you? That's to you, Cole. They ruined Miami's season. Let's keep it funky and let's keep it a buck. In the carried on Syracuse, the game should have been between Miami and Clemson and Charlotte for the ACC championship.
Give me SMU and
Oh, I'm
Miami.
sorry, SMU did qualify first. I'm sorry, SMU and Miami, but Syracuse decided to have different plans, and because of that spoiler of a game, I think that's why you have the Orange favored by so many. I don't think they should be favored by 18, but again, I don't do odds.
Yeah, but it's very interesting to see that. But we shall see. And then we talking in San Diego.
Yeah.
Familiar territory for Washington.
Of course it is. They probably played a few Holiday Bowls in their time. So yeah.
That is tonight, 8 p.m. on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to tomorrow. Here's a game that everybody's looking forward to. The team that could not tackle a running back from Arizona State and he bit to a championship game. Iowa State ranked 18, going against the runner-up of the Heisman, or so I say third place in the Heisman, Cam Ward and 13 ranked Hurricanes. That is tomorrow, 3:30 on ABC.
The city of Orlando needs to have their butts whooped. You mean to tell me out of this whole landscape of sponsors, you couldn't find anybody else but Pop-Tarts to give you that money?
Why you complaining? Out of all the bowl games, that's not part of the college football playoff. I guess what's the most popular one right now?
Well, I'm sure it's this one, but still, that's what I'm saying. This probably is the most popular non-New Year's Day bowl game, non-playoff game, bowl game. But this week thing, Pop-Tarts Bowl, really?
Everybody love Pop-Tarts, so.
I mean, I like Pop-Tarts, but no. I mean, come on, Coors, Bud Light, heck, Grape Nuts. I mean, something.
No alcoholic.
Look, Fruity Pebbles. I don't care what you can call anything else, but Pop-Tarts.
Man, if they would have called it a Fruity Pebble Bowl, you'd have went on a rock rant.
Well, that's true, but still, the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Really? So whoever wins this game, they all have to eat Pop-Tarts at center field when they at midfield when they get the trophy.
They can eat the mascot.
Lord have mercy.
And I think that's another reason why it's so popular. The mascot gets eaten.
Pause. Lord have mercy. The mascot gets eaten. Is the mascot a woman? Lord have mercy. I can't.
I don't know. Man, a mascot. You don't know who's under the mascots.
Well, if the mascot's a woman, then that would make sense. But I digress.
But this is Cam Ward, his final game in college. All right, gee, that's your favorite quarterback, right?
Yeah, he's my favorite quarterback in college football. Yeah, this year, yes.
But you focus on a freaking Pop-Tart, which is the most popular thing going on right now, instead of your favorite quarterback.
You throw this wonderful kid with a crappy sponsor. I'm sorry, I can't help it.
What makes it crappy? It's like the most popular thing going on. How is it crappy if it's the most popular thing going on?
Oh, Lord. Heck, iHeartRadio, Disneyland, Disney World. I mean, come on.
Disney's everywhere. I'm pretty sure they're like, no, we good.
I mean, because Disney World is not that far from Orlando. I mean, that would be perfect. I mean, what? You could chunk a stone and hit it. I mean, this would be perfect.
Not chunk a stone and hit it. Dude, Cam Ward's taking the field for the final time in collegiate football.
Yes. Congratulations to him. I think I'm interested to see how teams look at him when we have the pro days and the combines and and then the draft that will be 4 months from now. I want to see if people are going to respect him for the quarterback talent that he is, or are they going to think that he's an athlete and they want to push him outside of being a quarterback? I hope that they look at him as a quarterback, because the way he led the Hurricanes this year, I'm interested to see how that translates to Sundays.
Does he play the full game?
Does he play the full game? I have Miami winning this. I don't think he will.
You don't think he will?
No, I think he'll probably give you 3+ quarters.
3+ quarters. So,
yeah.
And a team that you're familiar with, Iowa State and Matt Campbell. Do you see them responding after what happened to them down in Jerry World?
Well, considering they got run all over the place, they're gonna have to. Unfortunately, I think Miami has what it takes to do similar things to them that Arizona State did to them, but I don't think it's going to be quite as bad, because I don't think that Miami can do the same thing, the exact same things to Iowa State's defense as Arizona State did. But they'll rebound enough. I don't think they'll rebound with a W, though.
Speaking of final games,
the Pop-Tarts Bowl,
the Alamo Bowl, 17 ranked BYU.
It's a nondescript bowl. I'm sorry.
Going against 21st ranked Colorado, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night, ABC. The final game between Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter. Heisman Trophy went to Travis Hunter. And those for you, because if you forgot, the Alamo Bowl has kept their current contract with the Pac-12, which means guess who's representing the Pac-12 in this game?
Colorado. But this is the final Big 12 game of the year.
A game that we didn't get to see, which makes it even more. Remember, people, when you had that 4-way tie at the top of the Big 12, these two teams did not play each other.
Right, and they were 2 of the 4 that were tied up top the conference. But yeah, this will be the final Big 12 game of the year, and this will be the, if I'm not mistaken, unless 2 teams match up, unless like Ohio State. The only one to be later would be Ohio State and Oregon, which would be in 3 days. But outside of that, this will be the deepest conference game that we'll see all of 2024, for the exception of the Rose Bowl, obviously.
Actually, you're right. You said 2024. That's because that takes place in 2025.
That's correct. But so technically, this will be the last 2024 conference matchup. Yeah, because when I saw this originally, I was like, wait a minute, why are they pitting 2 Big 12 teams in a bowl? That don't make sense. But then I heard the explanation from shout out to my man Michael Lyle, who's one of the brightest sports minds I've ever met. He says, and he said exactly what you just said. It's like, it's a deal that the Alamo Bowl had between the Pac-12 teams and the Big 12 teams. I was like, oh, okay, so Colorado was slide as the Pac-12. Okay, got it. All right, that makes sense. Because BYU's been the Big 12 for a couple of years now. So I'm like, okay, I get it. All right.
But this is the last hurrah of the Sanders and Hunter.
Yeah, I was about to say both Shiloh and Shedeur, because I think they're out the door too, along with Travis Hunter. This is going to be an interesting game. San Antonio, gear up. This is going to be probably one of the most anticipated games of the bowl season as well. Unfortunately, the winner won't be eating Pop-Tarts at midfield. But hopefully you like the Riverwalk and the Tour of the Alamo. I wanted to see how these 2 teams actually would face off against each other this year, and I was disappointed that they didn't schedule one another. But I'm like, oh, so I actually do on the back end get to see what I wanted to see all along.
Yeah, that makes it very intriguing.
Mm-hmm. Because I personally believe that I think, to me, I think these are probably the two best teams, and I think they represent the Big 12 now. Yeah, I know Arizona State won the Big 12 championship, and Iowa State is in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and Arizona State's going to be playing Texas in the Peach Bowl. I get that. But when I thought about the Big 12, I remember seeing BYU was just on top of the conference all year long, and Colorado was fighting their way up, and they were having that little engine and could type of year, and then they got to a good point, and then Kansas smacked them down. And to me, I think that was the game that got them eliminated from the playoffs.
Hey, you really think about it, Kansas is the reason why it was a 4-way tie. They beat 3 of them.
Well, that's true. You're right about that. They did beat
Kansas
3 of the 4
threw a
teams
monkey wrench in everything.
Yeah, they threw monkey wrenches in the whole plan, which that's cool. I'm glad he had Kansas, who unfortunately couldn't make mountains out of a molehill the rest of the year, gear up, and they beat the teams they were supposed to beat, and they treated the game against Colorado as a rivalry game. They treated it as a rivalry game. I think Colorado treated it as a regular game.
I'm gonna do what you did earlier. If you're an Arizona State fan, y'all should be writing letters to Lawrence, Kansas, because they threw a monkey wrench in the other 3 programs.
Yeah, Iowa State. Yeah, they ended Iowa State season late, basically. Colorado and BYU. So the Big 12 was interesting, and I thought these were the 2 teams that I really believe were the standard bearers of the conference. Although, yes, I know Arizona State says otherwise, and so did Iowa State, considering that they were in the championship game. Although their play in that game didn't do jack for them, but I digress.
And then finally, New Year's Eve before
shout out to you, San Antonio.
New Year's Eve before the quarterfinals kick off. Number 11 Alabama going against Michigan. Now, those of you looking, and those who didn't read my article, I think 2 weeks ago when I wrote it. Why did I'm looking forward to this game? Because Alabama's in a similar position as one team that 2 teams were in last year. Alabama felt like they was robbed, correct? They should have been in the CFP playoffs, right? And the first round went how the first round went, a Snoozefest to say the least.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's
supposed to be.
It would a Snoozefest if Alabama were there. I'm sorry, my bad. Continue, sir.
Alabama and calling the boy in his first year down in Tuscaloosa, you're in the Georgia/Florida State position. Do y'all remember
Lord
that?
Have mercy.
Remember You remember how Florida State felt they was robbed? They went undefeated.
They were undefeated throughout the regular season. They won the ACC championship. But how dare you punish us because the committee says we're starting a backup QB and we don't get a sniff in the national championship. But this year we have Georgia who did the same thing and they weren't undefeated and they're starting a backup quarterback, but they're in the playoffs. Shut up.
And you also have Georgia on the other hand, who also felt slighted by the committee last year for being left out in the playoffs when they only lost to Alabama in 2 whole years.
But they got pimp slapped by them. That's the thing. They got pimp slapped by Alabama at the worst time. At the worst time. Now, if it was a 12 seeded playoff, then we wouldn't have this conversation. They'd be both of them would have been playoffs, and so would have Florida State. But this was the last year. They were inviting 4. And I'll put it to you this way, Georgia and Florida State in 2023, both of you programs were not good enough.
And you know what the bowl committee did? Well, since we have Georgia and we have Florida State not in the playoffs, let's put them against each other in the Orange Bowl. One team said, all right, fine. We're going to accept your decision, and we're going to show you why you made the wrong decision. And the other team said,
middle finger, all you hoes.
What he said. So, what philosophy does Kevin the Boy and the Alabama team deploy? Do they deploy the Georgia Bulldogs philosophy or the Florida State philosophy? And mind you, you seen what that Florida State philosophy did to them this year.
Well, if I was the Boar, I would show them the whole game they played in Nashville. And I'd say, you remember this team? You were coming off a big time high. You just whooped Georgia, the now current SEC champion. You whooped them. I know. It took a last minute touchdown to beat them because we were too punks. We were too punk enough to not hold a double-digit lead, and we let them come all the way back to actually wrest the lead from us, but we still beat them. So you all were filling your oats. You went from Tuscaloosa 3 hours north of Nashville. You figured this is the easiest place in the SEC to play outside of our own stadium because, well, we rock Bryant Denny. But I mean, it basically feels like a home away from home in Nashville, and you did not even command the lead the whole entire game. You played like spoiled brats. You played from behind from the opening kickoff, and you acted as though you were entitled to a W against Vanderbilt. And because of that, you got the well-deserved L, and you should have gotten the wake-up call, but unfortunately, you needed another reminder in Norman. The board should be showing them that tape and having them understand that, okay, this isn't that, well, you got punked, you got shafted. No. Remind me, sir, did Alabama play in the SEC championship this year?
No, I think a newcomer played in the SEC championship.
Right. So if Alabama played in the SEC championship and they took the L to Georgia, then I would see that they got shafted. However, you took not one, not two, but 3 L's, and only one was justified. The L you took in Knoxville. That's the only L that really was justified because you had no business losing to Vanderbilt and you trailed the whole game. And you most certainly had no business only scoring a field goal in Norman against a whack. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Texas fan and I'm throwing shit at Oklahoma. I'm just being real. You know that Oklahoma this year was a whack team. You played against a whack Oklahoma team and only managed a field goal.
Remember, we said earlier, if it weren't for y'all, Oklahoma wouldn't even be playing Navy today, as of right now.
Right. Why would the committee award you with the playoff spot when you took 2 L's that you did not have any business having?
And the crazy thing is, guess who y'all playing against? Y'all playing against the team that beat you in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I'm about to say 12 months ago. Yep. In fact, another day would be exactly 12 months ago. 11 months, 31 days ago. And for some, I'm sure it's not all, because I know turnover is rampant in college football. But I know
it's
for some,
rampant.
Mm-hmm. But I know for some in Alabama, they probably would want to actually look at Michigan and say that this is get back. But I know they're not the same teams, obviously, because both of them were in the national semifinal last year. So you don't have the same teams. You don't even have the same 2 coaches on the sideline as 12 months ago. So these are 2 different teams with 2 different head coaches, with 2 different mindsets and actually traveling 2 divergent roads. Because Michigan can't even defend a national championship. And Alabama, well, they couldn't even sniff the opportunity to defend the SEC championship. So Alabama should come into this game not acting like they've been pampered and not acting like they're spoiled. Because if they do, we will see another L similar to the likes of Vanderbilt and Oklahoma in this timeshare bowl.
Down in Tampa, no excuses.
ReliaQuest.
Tuesday, December 31st, 12 p.m. New Year's Eve. And those are the bowl games I'm looking forward to coming up. All right. One final break here and then quarterfinals talk. We'll be back.
2 points. I don't believe that crap.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kurt the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. On YouTube and where you can find all podcasts.
Shop hats and official sports gear at Lids. Lids is the leader and number one destination for hats, gears, and everything that moves you, making it the perfect shop for fans to find official sports hats, merchandise, and gear. Represent your team, your town, and your style with a snapback adjustable fitted hat or beanie from thousands of college and pro teams. Browse the very latest sports jerseys and t-shirts from the best teams out there. Lids has officially licensed professional and college sport team apparel and hats featuring the hottest brands and trends. Shop online or visit one of the 100 stores across the country. Locker Rooms by Lids.
In a world where chronicles of the past are brought to the streams, whether the content is relatable or completely beyond your realm of life, there is no shadow of a doubt that this show is absolutely full of shenanigans. Get ready for
D. Willie in the evening.
this Sunday at 10:05 p.m. Eastern.
Exclusively on Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome. Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commander's Gridiron Report. You want your commanders to be repped right? Well, D. Willie is your man. Commander's Gridiron Report. Every Monday at 3:05 p.m. Eastern, 2:05 p.m. Central. Exclusively on the Sertoba Media YouTube channel. Music by J. Cool.
Where my soldiers? Right side. Commanders. Where my soldiers? Left side.
All right, welcome back to Barrett on the Gridiron. And shout out to D. Willie. Hey, I need your commander Sunday night.
Why are you rooting for the Commanders?
It's a very interesting way. If you go back and look at Ramley talk, you'll see why.
Oh, Lord.
It's a very interesting way for the Rams could clinch the NFC West this week, despite the fact that Seattle beat Chicago as expected.
Mm-hmm.
We still can clinch the NFC West this week by certain teams winning this weekend.
Wow. Even with the Seahawks winning yesterday. Okay.
Yep. Yep, because there's a certain thing called strength of victory.
Oh yeah, and shout out to the Bears. I'm glad there is a team that can score more points than the Texans in the game.
I know what it is. But we ain't gonna do that. Now, before we get to our previewing of the quarterfinals, anything you want to say about the first round?
The first round went exactly the way I thought it was going to go. Now, is it the way that I wanted it to go? No, because I wanted Ohio State to get stumped by Tennessee. So it didn't go the way I wanted it to go, but it went exactly the way I thought it was going to go. You wanted to create the home field advantage, you did, and
you talking about this Tennessee team?
Yes, they tried to. Which yes, the elements wasn't cold enough for them. I mean, heck, it was in the 20s here in Nashville when it was in the 20s in Columbus. So it wasn't it was going to be the weather condition. It was just the fact that you came with a whack game plan against a motivated squad. That really is what whooped you. And yeah, that almost would read too. Oh, okay, well, we in their heads if I was in Ohio State. Oh, we in their heads. Okay, so they want to show that the cold don't affect them. They want to roll out with no shirts. Okay, no problem. All right, we'll still dog walk them, and they did.
This is what's going on in Tennessee.
Unfortunately, yes. I mean, when you get to Knoxville, it's not like Duval. I mean, Duval. You do have times where in January it gets to the 70s, sometimes even the 80s. That don't happen in Knoxville. Doesn't happen in Nashville either. Not in January, not in December. But my thought about having them convey the message of, well, the cold isn't affecting us, and we'll show you.
I don't think people were thinking about the cold when they saw this.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking they want to rob somebody.
People are looking at them like, this is not a football team.
And they stupid. I mean, play your game.
It was dad bars all over Tennessee.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, play your game.
Like, is anyone of y'all in shape or anything?
Well, see, I don't do that with the childish boys. Now, if this is NFL, then yeah, I'd go hard and go ham on that. But these are college boys. I mean, we're talking between 18 and 22-year-olds. They encourage hosses to not be ripped and look like Lex Luger.
I ain't saying
see,
that.
See, Playmaker gets the reference. Most of you might not.
I did get the reference, but this is what the talking was before when the game kicked off. I was like, "Oh Lord, this is not good."
But I mean, it made those in the Big 12 happy. Be like, look at that. So y'all in the South, y'all looking like y'all had corn-fed niggers. I thought y'all were lean athletes. What happened?
That was not good. That backfired.
Well, and it should have backfired. But like I said, Tennessee, Heupel, Joshua Heupel. Why did you allow the elements to play a part in your preparation, in your game? Why? You already have, from what I can understand, what I could ascertain, even what from Playmaker could ascertain, and at least an offense that can travel. You can run the same type of offense if you were to play this game in Miami as you could if you were playing this in Portland, Maine. I mean, the offense travels. So you'd have to prove that, oh, well, it's in the 20s. This don't affect us. You didn't have to do that. But in doing so, you basically lost the psychological battle right then and there. Because Ohio State was, we got them. We got them. The cold is so affecting their thought process. They're not even focused on the opponent and the task at hand. And the final score proved that, 42-17. But look, the home field advantage in South Bend, in Happy Valley, in Austin, and in Columbus, all four sites, it was wonderful. It was great. I enjoyed that aspect of it all, and it did feel different. And I liked how different it felt because it wasn't. It felt as though it had more to it than the hottest rival that comes into your building. Like it didn't feel like it was USC that was coming into South Bend or Oklahoma, which they never come to Austin. But I'll say A&M. A&M coming to Austin, or Michigan coming into Columbus, which you experienced that a month ago, and you never mind. And heck, you could pick a rival. It could be Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, a big time rival that comes into Happy Valley. It seemed that it was even more intense of an atmosphere in the stands and with the home team that was playing. And I really enjoyed that aspect more than anything. So from that end, I got exactly what I thought I was going to witness.
All home teams covered.
And
All
not,
home teams
and not
won
just
by
one.
double digits.
Not just one, they covered. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And all four home teams played rather outstanding.
I wish you was here. I wish you was here early because I had some questions for your head coach.
But I was going to say, but here's the fly normal for me. My question mark goes to Mr. Steve Sarkisian in Texas. Of the four, I think he coached the worst game of the four. Because of that, and the brain dead decisions that he made, that game was closer than it should have been. Because the Longhorns had a route going on, and he that up.
He wasn't even here earlier, and he pretty much said what I said. And he wasn't even here earlier when I did that.
I mean, there's no excuse. Texas had a route going. They were routing Clemson. They were showing that Clemson did not deserve to be on the same field. And then for some reason, somewhere in the third quarter, Sarkisian decided to have a brain fart. And then it took him to the middle of the fourth quarter and say, "Oh, wait, whoa. Oh, I messed this up. We now have a game. Okay, we got to put these guys away now." No. That's the only blemish. Outside of that, Marcus Freeman called a flawless game in South Bend.
Marcus Freeman took it easy on Indiana. He could have blew them out.
He did, but he still called a flawless game, though. James Franklin, he called his best game of his college career against SMU. And Ryan Day, he had his best performance as a coach against Tennessee. I can't say enough about those three. Sarkisian, you faltered a bit, but you played well enough and you had enough talent to where it overcame your foibles and your bloopers and your flop of decisions.
With that being said, let's get to it. The playoffs are set for the quarterfinals. Fiesta Bowl, Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl. Beginning New Year's Eve, December 31st, 7 p.m. ESPN, the Fiesta Bowl, the 6th-ranked Nittany Lions coming off that destructive win of SMU. They are now be facing the Mountain West champions and the 3 seed Boise State Broncos down in Glendale, Arizona.
What's a verbo? I'm sorry, my bad. That was I did not mean to blurt that out so much, so hard. I'm sorry, my bad. You're doing so well setting that up, and I just blurted that out. I'm sorry.
All right, sir. First game on the docket is the game that you are most concerned with because I see a single-digit number in front of Boise State. And I see James Franklin on the other side.
Wait, all right. I want to make sure. I want to make sure this is how it is. So Boise State, I know they're seeded 3 in this playoff. Is that their rank?
I don't think they care about rankings anymore. It's where you see today.
Okay. The reason why I ask it that way, is there might be a slight chance. It might be a scintilla of a chance
Let
that
me put it
James
like this:
Franklin can
they're
still
not
win.
going to show the ranking. They are going to show the seed when this game is played.
So basically, they're going to do it like how they do the NCAA tournament, where they don't do rankings or where you were ranked. It's where you're seated, basically.
Yes.
Okay. All right. See, there might be a scintilla of hope for James Franklin's team. They may be able to win, and it may be against a team that is not ranked 11th and lower, or seeded in this case 11th or lower. And I was going to say that chance would be that's what they seeded, but where they're ranked. But if that's going to be taken off the table, I see an L. I want to believe that Penn State has turned the corner. I want to believe that they know that they are more talented 1 to 100 than Boise State is. That for the exception of Ashton Jeanty.
I was say, can you do 1 to 99? You said 1 to 100. I'm gonna say 1 to 99 because that last spot go to Boise State.
Well, okay. Well, I'm saying overall. Overall, 1 to 100. Penn State has more talent that's going to go into the pros than Boise State is. Now, the best player on the field obviously would be Ashton Jeanty, and he laps the field with everybody else on the field. I understand that. There isn't a question in my mind about who's the best player in this game. All eyes are going to be on Mr. Jeanty, as it should be. Penn State should turn the corner. They should take the game they played last week against SMU and say that this is who we really are. And they should take that effort, especially defensively, because defensively, that's where it started. And
yeah, they turned Kevin Jennings over 3 times, including a pick 6.
Yeah, and I was saying it was two of them that started the game. So that's the energy that Penn State needs to bring to Glendale.
Now, question for you. We talked about how SMU had to travel up north, right?
Right.
Penn State got to go out west.
Yeah, Penn State has to travel out west. So there'll be 3 time zones off, obviously.
And they'll be in a dome, so there'll be no weather to impact.
So, yeah, there'll be no weather advantage or disadvantage for either team, because Boise State does not come from a place where it's balmy.
No, we're talking about Idaho.
Right. But, of course, this to me, I think this is going to be the easiest strategy point game of the 4 that we cover. And that is, can the Nittany Lions defense stop Ashton Jeanty? If they can, Penn State wins. If they can't, forget it. Boise State goes on the semifinals. I mean, to me, this is the simplest of the 4.
As 11-point favorites, if Ashton Jeanty and the Broncos defeat Penn State and James Franklin, what would be the noise in Happy Valley?
The Negro can't win a big game. I mean, it's still going to be that. I mean, it's still going to be James Franklin still cannot win the big game. I mean, there's even evidence in having him being in one of these Big 6 bowls, having wonderful performances. Remember a few years back.
But will it go deeper? Because that is Boise State.
Again, you remember
that's Mountain West. But
remember, a few years back, they went to the Rose Bowl. They represented the Big Ten. They played USC, and they had this shootout where everything seemed to be great, but Penn State couldn't pull out the last second. You're going to be having a lot of those foibles come back, where it's like, for James Franklin, he knows how to get his team to these games. He doesn't know what to do when they play in these games.
I understand your point, but I'm asking because that is Boise State.
And it could
Mountain
be the
West team.
And it could be the Houston Texans the way they played against the Ravens on Christmas night. It don't matter.
You don't think that by being Boise State adds a little more to it?
No.
You a Big Ten school losing to a Mountain West school.
No. And you know reason why? Because Boise State now is not the little man anymore. They used to be. It's similar to UCF now. And you know this, you live in Florida. You know, UCF was a little engine that could, and it was to the point where they felt embarrassed because they had 2 straight years where they went undefeated, and they had a bowl game where they beat a blue blood in each year, and they had and they had to resort to putting billboards up in Orlando saying the real the real national champs, University of Central Florida. Well, they don't have to do that now. They're now in the big leagues. Well, Boise State, they've been swinging for the fences for God knows. We swing for the fences for at least as long as you've been an adult. And so now,
actually before then,
yeah. So now,
I think I was in middle school when they did the whole Statue of Liberty on Oklahoma.
Right. Yeah. So now, the Mountain West is one of the big boys. They're not one of the big boys now. Otherwise, Boise State wouldn't have gotten a bye. They would have had to be like what Clemson would have to do, and they would have had to have played a road game to prove their worth. They didn't have to do that here. They got a bye, and now they get a chance to play in one of the Big 6 bowls, the Big 6 New Year's Day bowls. And I hate to say it this way, the stench of Boise State being a Mountain West team, well, that stench is now coming off, and it's coming off even further because in 3 years they will be part of the new Pacific 12.
Yeah. All right, that's to begin the quarterfinals, and Penn State's 11-point favorite. The disrespect to Boise State is real.
Oh, the disrespect is real, but the fact that they are no longer the little engine that could, and they're now one of the big boys, that also is real.
And then,
but the disrespect in Vegas is real though.
That would be the
underdog, and they're the higher seed. That sucks.
I think, if I'm remembering correct, I think this is the final game of 2024 because we go to 2025 New Year's Day, 1 p.m. ESPN. For obvious reason, Coach Johnson will be having both eyes locked and loaded on this game down in the Beach Bowl of the ATL Atlanta, Georgia, as the 5th-ranked Longhorns are 13.5 favorites against the Big 12 champions, Arizona State.
I'm not. It's not lost on me that Texas, because of the L they took in the same building 3 weeks ago to Georgia, and congratulations to Georgia, you earned being the SEC champions because you did it with your backup quarterback, and we'll
who's now they starting quarterback.
Yeah, but I was gonna say we'll touch on that when we talk about them and Notre Dame, but it forced Texas to, even though they had a home game, it forced it to play against the ACC champs and rout them. Now they have to play against the Big 12 champs. So it's not lost on me that they had to play the ACC champ in the first round. Get to the quarterfinal, they have to play the Big 12 champ. And if they win this game, more than likely they'll be playing the Big 10 champ in the semifinal. It is not lost on me that the road to this championship for Texas is probably going to be harder than for any other team in this field.
You know, the funny thing is, you lost in the SEC championship in a certain building. You playing the Peace Bowl in a certain building.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make a national championship game, guess what that game is?
Playing that same building for the crown. Yes.
It could be 3 trips to Atlanta for Texas.
3 trips to Atlanta for Texas in a less than 2 month span. And I hope this is not going to become like a house of horrors for them. But in my estimation, in my purview, and correct me if I'm wrong, sir, ACC champion Clemson, Big 12 champion Arizona State, Big 10 champ or Oregon if they were to go past Ohio State, which I think they will. But if Texas were to actually beat all three of these teams and they get to play in the national championship game, which other team had the toughest road, or which team had a tougher road than them to get to the national championship? And I'm saying this not as a Texas fan. So I'm like, wow.
You know what my question is? Defense. Are you prepared to tackle a certain running back?
That's going to be my issue for them as well. I want Texas to come in this game with the understanding that they got to up their physicality. They got to up it. They did in Clemson. They upped it a little bit. They upped it defensively against Georgia in the SEC championship. Offensively, they did not, in my opinion. What they did against Clemson, I want to see more of offensively. I want to see them commit to smacking a defensive line in the face. I want the physicality to be the point where it's like, look, we are coming in this field. We're more man than you. We're going to prove it. And you're going to do but two things when we do it. Nothing and like it. I want Texas offensively to have that type of mentality when they play Arizona State and they beat them, Oregon, and they beat them. Hopefully it's Georgia for the third time, and this time for the national championship. I want their offense to say, we are more man than you.
If you ain't grow up in the 90s, you would not get that reference.
I mean, that's
do nothing and like it.
I mean, but see, that's the mentality I want Texas to have offensively. Defensively, I think they've come around to that, to where it's like, okay, we get that you want to be physical, but we actually are a little more physical. We actually are more man, and we're gonna prove that we're more man than you, because we're gonna make you prove that you aren't.
You're going against a gritty team in the Big 12 champions, Cam Scatterbull. Whoo!
Here's why I think I feel good about that. The W that they took in Kyle Field against A&M, because A&M is a gritty team. They believe that they're supposed to just run you out of the stadium. Texas hung with them. Actually played Texas A&M's game in their building and did beat them. And then they decided to play gritty in the national championship and in the SEC championship game against Georgia. Could have won it, but they made too many mistakes to win it, and most of it on offense. And in those two games, I felt okay with that, because I'm like, okay, so if they can limit the mistakes and they can be physical, I really believe that Texas can be a national champion. But they got to believe they could be physical on both sides of the ball, on both lines of scrimmages. And if they could do that, I believe they could take it to teams, especially to one that wants to be physical on offense, like Arizona State. But I'm not going to say it's going to be a walk in the park. It's not. I don't think they're going to steamroll Arizona State. I don't think that I don't consider Arizona State to be a lightweight. Texas is going to have to bring the lunch pail. Arizona State is going to want to smack you up, down, and sideways. But I want them to take on I want them to take on the challenge and smack them back.
Don't you go for it on fourth down 4 damn times.
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again, sir.
Don't you go for it on fourth down 4 damn times.
One more time.
1 and 4 on fourth down when you was up. Make no sense. Steve Sarkis, don't you do that. Don't you do that in Atlantic crap in this game.
And you don't even root for Texas.
No.
And it pissed you off. Now imagine the person who roots for Texas, you see it. That pissed me off royally. I mean, you want to hand the game.
I say you can take that 24 points was the most scored in the first round by a road team, by the way.
Right. It was.
You can take 9 points for them and add it to test. That should have been your final score.
I agree. I 100% agree. I was just saying that the Longhorns were on their way to a route. And it was like, so Keys was like, well, we can't have a route. We got to have a competitive game. Fool. No, send the Dabo Swinney's packing with a big time L. Come on, man.
1 p.m. New Year's Day, ESPN.
Bring the physicality,
The
Texas.
old Big 12 champion versus the new Big 12 champion.
Bring the physicality to them, Longhorns. How you played against Clemson? I want to see that again in Atlanta.
And the Sun Devils is a scrappy team, so don't take them lightly.
No, don't. Please don't take them lightly. No, please do not take them lightly. Take them like the opponent you should respect and beat them down. Because if you beat them down, you'll have a more concerted effort and you'll play better.
That was game 1. Game 2, and probably the most watched game of all the quarterfinals because it is a rematch. It is one of the most prestigious stadiums in college football. It is the Rose Bowl, 5 p.m. New Year's Day on ESPN.
Oh.
The 8th ranked Buckeyes of Ohio State, they get the game they've been wanting. You good over there?
Oh man, I needed to have my lung cleansing. This visual helped a lot. Thank you for creating this visual, playmaker. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
Hilarious? How is it hilarious?
Okay, and you know why? Let's break it down. Oregon, the best team in the country. They were number 1 ranked for most of this year. They let's see. The next loss they suffer in this season will be the first. They have boat raced just about every team except the one they're playing in the Rose Bowl. And yes, I am thinking about the dummy. I'm blanking on the quarterback's name.
Well, Howard.
Yeah. Who decided to scramble with 6 seconds to go in the game and actually not run a play where you could set up for a field goal and you would have put the L that Oregon should have taken against you, but your brain dead coach, along with you and your brain dead quarterback, decided opposite. So yes, I'm thinking that, but with all of that understood, Oregon's the underdog.
Yep.
That is what made me laugh.
Yep. 2.5-point favorites are the Buckeyes in the rematch.
That is what made me laugh.
Pasadena, California. You don't have to worry about no weather over there in California.
No, most perfect weathered game of the year in all of college sport and all of football, in my opinion.
Which is crazy because out of all the spots, is in that one particular spot.
Yeah, Pasadena, California. Yeah,
that one particular spot.
Mm-hmm.
In January.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I cannot ever recall seeing a rain-soaked, and it's happened like once or twice in my lifetime, but I can't remember. I can't reel it off my head. A rain-soaked or a cloudy or a miserable-looking Rose Bowl game day. Not one. I can't reel off one. It's like the sky couldn't be more picturesque. The scene couldn't be better. The temperature couldn't be greater. I'm like, geez. I mean, the temperature's like between like 55 and 70 every single year. I'm like, how is this possible?
And you pretty much you can take a glimpse like the grass actually kind of look like this on this post too. It's beautiful grass.
Yeah,
the grass is beautiful.
Yeah. Now, of course, Playmaker and I, we lived in SEC country, so of course we know that, you know, we have decent stadiums. Well, Peach Bowl for one, Orange Bowl another, and of course we won't talk about Orange Bowl until next week. But in terms of just a college football setting, or I'd say football setting in general, because I really believe I really believe the NFL has screwed its lunch.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, in my opinion.
When they decided to no longer play Super Bowls in Pasadena. I'm like, shh. It may be. I mean, the venue may be old. Granted, yes, it may be old and it may be round, and it may not have the luxury boxes and all of that type of junk. But you can get a lot of people in that stadium, and you have the perfect weather conditions almost all the time there. So, of all the games, I always look forward to this one, just for that alone.
If you're in the Big 12, and they always say, what bowl game you want to be in? They usually have to pick between the National Championship and the Rose Bowl because, like, man, that's how big the Rose Bowl is.
Yeah, that and I mean, if you want to know how big the Rose Bowl is, especially to someone who roots for Texas, I mean, Vince Young, 20 and 19 years ago, where the two best games he ever had in football, college or pro, happened to be on the Rose Bowl. The January 2005, it was a nip and tuck game against Michigan that came down to a field goal, and then he topped that by, to me, the greatest national championship game played, January 2006. And this is a storied game in a storied building, and you have now. I basically will say, although I think Michigan has probably more of the sustained history of the Big 12. Big 10. I think Ohio State has the richest of highest tradition. I'll put it this way, like in basketball, when you think of ACC, you think of that sustained success of Duke, but you also think about the hallmark moments of national championships that North Carolina would always have. I sort of look at Ohio State in the Big 10 lore as the one that is like the kings of the conference. And so you have the king of Big 10 football in the building that they believe is where they rule. The Rose Bowl.
The committee ain't for me. I know they was doing. Because this is and this is not the setting that you want. Oregon, Ohio State, Pasadena, California. That's what you wanted.
Yeah. So, I'm happy for Ohio State to getting their revenge, and they're getting their revenge in a place where they feel like they own.
The place that Oregon feel like they own too, so somebody gonna be owning it.
I was gonna say they feel like they own it, and that's why I was gonna flip on the other side. And here's what makes this interesting, because you have an old Pac-12 team who, when they did get a chance to play in the Rose Bowl themselves, they felt like they owned it. And then when they played UCLA every third, every fourth year, they felt like they owned them there too. So you have, I think, two programs where you might be seeing a change in the guard, where you have the blue blood that rules the Big 12 versus the new kid on the block that wants to rule it all now. And they had a great game in October, and here we are 3 months later. They get a chance to do it all over again, this time on a neutral site, this time for a bid in a semifinal, higher stakes, and the higher seed is highly disrespected.
You know what they should do? This is my opinion. Whatever your big opening game is should be played there. Just the opening. Because y'all like to do neutral site games for opening week.
So the way they're doing it now, so that would be, good Lord, it used to be Labor Day weekend. Now you have to push it back to 2 weekends before. Since we're playing college football games in the middle of August, and they count now. That wouldn't be a bad idea, because from what I understand, the weather in LA is not unbearable in August either.
I was just saying, that's the most beautiful sight in college football.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, man. The committee got what they wanted. The Rose Bowl is exactly the matchup that they wanted.
But I guess Vegas didn't get what they wanted because they actually decided to make Ohio State the favorite. That I find hilarious. I'm like, oh, so yeah, that's why I laughed to a cough. I'm like, they are wholeheartedly, highly disrespecting Oregon. Dan Lanning, are you playing for clicks now? Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
Not going to revisit that one, but those who don't know, let's go back to season 2 of Bearing Down and Gridiron. You'll get why he said that because somebody on this program went off.
But Ohio State, Ryan Day, your job is safe. You not only did you have a playoff victory, but you brought your team to another Rose Bowl appearance. Beautiful job, Mr. Day. Beautiful. Wonderful 2024.
And the final and the last thing to kick off the new year and to begin the year 2025, let's head to the Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans, Louisiana.
I give Ryan Day props and you don't say anything about that?
Nope. Marcus Freeman in the 7th
seed. Cold.
Yep. Marcus Freeman in the 7th seed at Notre Dame Fighting Irish going against the number 2 seed and SEC champion Georgia Bulldogs. 8:45 ESPN. No Carson Beck. Gunnar Stockton is leading the Bulldogs on this playoff run. And Marcus Freeman, I'm about to trigger a button in Cole Johnson, despite losing in week 2 of the season, has decided to destroy everybody else by double digits, including last Friday.
Congratulations to Marcus Freeman. This is obviously the best season Notre Dame has had, probably since they played against Alabama for the national championship 12 years back.
Oh Lord.
I'm sorry.
You brought him up? Because he was on a freaking Netflix thing Christmas Day.
Notre Dame, you had a wonderful season, Marcus. You've done a wonderful account for yourself. However, I still feel,
and if anybody trying to figure out what I'm talking about,
Mentateo, yeah. Shout out to you for bouncing back from the catfish, but I digress.
The invisible one.
Mm-hmm. But I still believe, if you will, that Notre Dame should still be punished for losing at home to Northern Illinois. Yes, I know you boat raced Purdue. You boat raced Navy in the Bronx. I get it.
Boat race Florida State, boat race Army.
Florida State, boat raced Army. You pimp slap USC. I mean you have gone through everybody.
You gave a gentleman's sweep to Indiana in the playoffs,
and then you get to Indiana and you beat them. You beat them in the playoffs. Wonderful job.
But you still hold on to that Northern Noodles.
They should pay the price. There is no way they should have lost that game to them. I just can't believe it. But yes, I understand that that Notre Dame has an agreement with the College Football Playoff Committee where they have 0 or 1 loss, they will be invited to the playoffs. So I get they only have 1 loss in the season, so they earn their way there. Fine, I get that. I just think they should get punished for losing to Northern Illinois.
But they boat raced everybody else. And like they lost to Northern Illinois and they were squeaking by games. They were pump slapping other teams.
Oh yeah, they were.
Jeez.
Yeah, when
remember we talked earlier about Alabama needed a wake-up call against Vanderbilt, but they needed another against Oklahoma. Northern Illinois was their wake-up call for Notre Dame, and they ain't getting no wake-up call ever since.
Well, yeah, you raised a really good point because man, when they got a hold of Purdue and they put 65 on them. Woo! Man. Yeah, I think all kidding and joking aside, Notre Dame earned their way here, and they are one of the 8 best teams in college football.
I want all you ADs and all you coaches to understand what Marcus Freeman did. Yeah, he lost to a MAC team.
Mhm.
But guess what he did on the back end? Well, since we lost this game already, we want to smack everybody else. And guess what they did? They smacked everybody else.
I'm about to say they on the back end backhanded everybody else.
That's how you overcome a loss.
They treated every other opponent like hoes, and Notre Dame were pimps.
Kellen, the boy, do you get the message?
So yeah, they are one of the 8 best teams in college football. There's no debating it. Notre Dame did not get handed the position. This isn't one of those years where it's like, oh, they got by because of their name and their prestige. No, they got there because they were whooping up on teams. They whooped up on teams in ACC. They whooped up on teams in the Big Ten. And to boot, of course, they whipped 2 of the service academies. And
by the way, one of them is a conference champion. By the way,
I was gonna say one was a conference champion, the other was ranked. So
and the other one beat the other conference champion.
Right. So Army and Navy weren't having one of those. Oh well, they're cool, they're sweet. I'm glad they're competing. I'm glad they're fighting, and I'm glad they're fighting for our honor. But good Lord, they suck as a football team. They weren't having that type of year. Neither one. They were actually really having really good gridiron seasons, and Notre Dame both raced them both.
They both was undefeated when they played Notre Dame.
Right? Yeah. They were actually having strong football seasons, and Notre Dame took care of business. So I can't really say that Notre Dame got handed this position. They earned it. So I'm proud of them earning it. But I'm also proud that they get a chance to play against a team where I would have to say for the last 5 years, I think they are the most championship pedigreed of them all. Yes, I know that we're not dealing with the same squad that 2 years ago won the national championship. I get that. But you're still dealing with the same coach at Kirby Smart. And he's learned a lot of lessons from bumping his toe against Alabama in the SEC championship and in the national championship against them one year. He got a chance to see how it felt to repeat. Got a chance to see how it felt when his team couldn't live up to the hype, which was last year. And this year, I think this is one of his best coaching performances, because this was not the greatest of Georgia teams.
No, you escape a couple of games here.
I'll go Cam Newton on this. Let's keep it a buck. This isn't the greatest of Georgia teams.
You scraped by Florida.
Yeah.
Only because DJ Ladway got hurt.
Yeah, a strong fourth quarter to beat Georgia, to beat Florida. You needed a strong fourth quarter to beat Tennessee in your building. You needed to have, what was it, 6 overtimes to beat Georgia Tech?
Eight.
That beat Georgia Tech.
That game started at 7:30. It didn't end till after midnight.
Yeah, so you needed multiple overtimes to beat Georgia Tech,
and that was Black Friday.
And you had to come from behind double digits just to even get into overtime. So we're not talking about the best team or the best Georgia team that we have seen in a while. In fact, I'd say of the 5 years, this is the worst of them all.
And when you needed Carson back the most, all thing you need him to do was to hand the football to the Travis Etienne for you to get past Texas.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't throw.
Worth a darn.
Literally.
So you had to overcome a quarterback that, the team believes in him, but I think he shrunk at the big moments. And I personally believe, and I don't really believe in this, but I personally think that if Beck were to have played that second half, I think Texas would have gotten Georgia. Because I think Sarkisian would have had the mistakes that he would have made been overcome by the fact that defense solved Carson Beck. But Gunnar Stockton had to come in his place. Next man up. You have Georgia the number 2 seed and Texas number 5. and that's just how the cookie crumbles. But you know what?
Going to stop in how he's going to feel. This Notre Dame defense is.
I like their
ferocious.
defense.
This defense is ferocious.
I like the Fighting Irish defense.
They like to hit.
Yeah. I wanted to see how they were when they played against Texas A&M, and that's like in September. And
that was the first game of the year.
And they were flying around the place. I was surprised. I was like, they got athletes. I'm not used to seeing Notre Dame having athletes. and I think that's what threw me for a loop when I saw them. I was like, dang, they got athletes. Dare say defensively they could hang with an SEC team, and they did, and they beat them. So I liked how they looked in September. The defense actually looked pretty good in that L to Northern Illinois too, but the offense just couldn't take care of them. And the rest of the year, what can you say about that defense? I mean, they just dominated. And
I think outside of USC and Louisville, no other team scored 20 plus points.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm seeing athletes.
And that includes the Texas A&M game, because Texas A&M only scored, I think, 10.
They only scored a touchdown against them. So they only scored 7.
So,
but I'm like, I'm seeing athletes on defense. I thought they would, just corn-fed boys on the line, and you might have an athlete in the secondary, and you might have an athlete for a linebacker, and that would be it. No, not this year. Not this year. Defensively, they
the plug is going.
Yeah.
8 carries. I'm gonna say it again. 8 carries, 108 yards. That's all he needed to do against Indiana.
He made in that touchdown romp. He made Indiana's defense look like they were stuck in cement. The explosion I saw him hit that hole.
Oh, and by the way, it was snowing in that game, by the way.
Right. The explosion through the hole that I saw him have, I'm like, wow. Okay, so
this is in snow.
Yeah. So I had to understand when I'm looking at Notre Dame, I have to understand this is not your father's Notre Dame. This is not my father's Notre Dame. This isn't 3 yards in a cloud of dust. This isn't just corn-fed Midwestern boys. And they look up, get an athlete from Pennsylvania, an athlete from Florida, an athlete from California, an athlete from Texas. No, they got some studs on both sides of the ball. And Georgia has their work cut out for him. And they had their work cut out for him if Carson Beck was starting at quarterback. But they're doing it with Gunnar Stockton at quarterback. Oh, the task is tough and the fight is real.
This might be, if you didn't have Ohio State or Oregon round 2 coming about, this would be the game everybody would be watching.
It would be. It would be, because you got two teams who Georgia defensively wants to get at you and get after you and smack you. You could succeed against them because they seem to at times make the big mistake, especially in the secondary. So you have athletes with Georgia, but they aren't as disciplined as I would like for them to be defensively. Notre Dame, on the other hand, they are. And so now the question I have is, in this game, can Georgia match the intensity defensively of Notre Dame? Can that be matched? Because I want to see that battle be matched. I want to see Georgia like they did with Texas. I think they witnessed Texas wanting to smack them around when Georgia had the ball on offense, and Georgia defensively were up to the task to smack Texas around on offense too. That to me is where the battle is. Which defense is going to be more physical? Which defense is going to be more disciplined? Which defense is going to make the offense their offense's job easier? That to me is the question. That's to me are the questions I will ask when it comes to Notre Dame versus Georgia.
Well, that's the quarterfinals. Getting it started New Year's Eve, December 31st, Fiesta Bowl, Penn State, Boise State. James Franklin, don't lose to Boise State.
Oh yeah, you still won't be able to win the big one.
Don't lose to Boise State.
And you favored by double digits too. Ugh.
Man, losing to a Mountain West team and you a Big Ten school. Oof. I can see the ramifications on that.
Well,
New Year's Day, 1 p.m. Texas, Arizona State, Peach Bowl.
Hook 'em.
5 p.m. Game of the quarterfinals in the Rose Bowl. Ohio State, Oregon, round 2.
I still can't believe that Ohio State is favored, as janky as Ryan Day is.
You know why your favorite? You say it's hard to beat a team twice, right?
I get it, but still, Oregon's a better team than Ohio State.
Based on how they looked against Tennessee, people might have different opinions now.
Based on how Oregon has looked against everybody, including Ohio State. I have not seen Oregon look bad this year. Have you?
And then
exactly
the nightcap, Sugar Bowl, Notre Dame, Georgia.
That's going to be a really good game. That's those who like to see Smash Mouth football. I think you're going to enjoy the Sugar Bowl this year.
And Coach Johnson is one of those people.
Yes. I like football where if you show that you are more man than another and you're unafraid to show it, yes, give me more of that. Because I do not care to see ballet in football. You can spread out defenses and have these pinball games all you want. No. I want to see if you line up best man on offense, best man on defense, and you just simply collide, which line of scrimmage is going to dominate over the other? Because that is who's going to tell anybody, much less me, much less playmaker, who's going to win and lose again. And that never loses its excitement. Never.
So, on this Friday, December 27, 2024, that would be it for me in the year 2024. This is the last show that the Playmaker is doing for 2024 because the quarterfinals begin on the 31st. And New Year's.
Banner Gridiron. I'm sorry. I was thinking about the Playmakers canon, Playmakers catalog. I'm sorry, my bad.
Oh, no. This is literally the last show of 2024.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Hold on.
There's no Monarchs of Wrestling next Monday.
What?
No Monarchs of Wrestling next Monday.
No, man.
See? That's what happens when you miss the show Monday.
No, Monarchs of Wrestling Monday. What type of crap is that? What type of outfit you and Cool running?
See? If you would have showed up like you're supposed to, you'd have known.
I would have shown up, but doggone it, I can't help it if a cold knocked me on behind. I mean, I was good. I mean, after the last recording we had of Brandon and Grind, I was no good for a good solid week. and you heard the remnants of it when you showed the graphic of the Rose Bowl game between Oregon and Ohio State. That was me for a week.
For a week, that might explain why Drew decided to do Total Football Talk right across from us.
Yeah, I'm like, dang, man, I couldn't go home, or I couldn't take my wife home. That's how bad I was. So yes, I would have caught. I can't believe it. I would have caught the last Monarchs of Wrestling for 2024, but I was sick. Otherwise, I would have.
Yes, exactly.
But it sucks because you, my brothers, are going to take off for the new year.
Yes.
How dare you?
Well, college football playoffs is on the New Year, so why would I do a show when I'm doing the show right now?
No, I know why. I know why not Banner and the Grind.
Ramley Talk,
and I know why not. Well, you could do Ramley Talk before the new year.
Why would I do that? It's because the New Year's on a Wednesday. Ramley Talk is usually on Thursday.
Why? Because the Rams play Saturday,
I already did. I did that yesterday.
I know, but I'm saying the Rams play Saturday. I know you already did the preview for the Cardinals versus Rams. I know that, but you get a chance to hype up the Rams hosting the Seahawks, and the winner will be the NFC West champ.
Next Thursday will be January 2nd. You know you're not winning this battle. You know that, right?
What peeves me off is you could do a Monarchs of Wrestling Monday and you ain't.
No, we're not doing it Monday.
Doggone, you ain't cool.
Well, guess what? Guess what the part of Monday is? January 6th.
That's why I figured it's up on the board. I figured, okay, well, you can unload all your wonderful stuff where you won't have to cram stuff the night of the Netflix debut of Raw.
Oh no, Cool already got that. Cool already planned that out already. January 6th finna be. So I'm putting it to you like this: me and Cool coming in swinging January 6th.
Well, that's obvious. And
no,
you both should.
Saying, when I'm coming, we coming in swinging. We ain't no AEW, no TNA. We're gonna when we come back, we're gonna say, all right, this is what we enjoyed from 2024.
Okay, well then, here's my AEW take. Ricochet, you should go back to the WWE because you would be doing the exact same crap there as you have been doing in AEW.
Hey, your butt should join us for January 6th. The freaking monstrous debut.
If you two would like to have me, and I'd be honored.
You know you have an open invitation.
But I just can't believe I can't believe that my boys will be taking off December 30th.
Hey, it's only one man out of the three of us who hasn't taken the time off. Okay.
But no, but I understand though. You don't understand. It's just it's gonna suck not seeing you two talk wrestling on Mondays.
It's only one a week.
I know. So yeah, it's gonna suck.
My man needs a break. Okay.
Oh, I agree. Why do you think I call Cool the hardest working content creator I know?
Well, I'm happy he got that. It was me at one point, but
yeah, it's cool now because I look at him. One show on Monday, one show on Wednesday, one show on Friday, and then I see these other shows. One show on Sunday, one show on Thursday. Oh, how many shows you got? I mean, I love you, brother, but how many shows you got? I thought I was bad. Jeez.
See, that's what's going on. So yes, y'all will not see me until 2025.
Boom.
But you get to see him next Monday because he has a lot to get off his chest.
You doggone right. Firstly, why couldn't you have a December 30th platform where we could get off and boogie? You could basically say, well, AEW sucks for this reason. TNA sucks for this reason. Heck, even go to New Japan. They suck for this reason. And then we can go to WWE and prepare for Raw on Netflix.
Nah.
You could have done a special. It would have been a special episode. Because Monday would be the last episode of Raw with Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett, because they're gonna have McAfee and Cole assume Raw duties. I mean, that would have been perfect.
I wonder how that's gonna work when they get to January 20 when Pat McAfee is needed to be at the national championship game and not on Monday Night Raw.
Would he do calls? Or would it be just a pregame?
Pregame. Game day.
So where is Raw on the 20th?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because if Raw's in Atlanta, it's doable.
It's not going to be in Atlanta. I already know that.
Yeah, but see, if Raw's in Atlanta, you got your answer. It's doable. Because all he would have to do is just go from wherever they're staging in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium and walk to Phillips, the State Farm Arena, and he's there. But I don't think it's in Atlanta either.
But with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed your Christmas.
I didn't. 2 points. 2 points.
I hope y'all get ready to bring in a new year in a safe, fun way.
Beyonce scoring more points than you guys. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
And I will see you guys in 2025.
You had a college team score more. You had the Bears score more points than you.